see the first guy.
The Hudson approaches once again on the northwest. Oh, that's cute. The pressure of aerial combat may have necessitated such a maneuver.
The Boomerang, just conducting the flypast, was fitted with two 20mm cannons and 4 Browning machine guns. It was slower and less agile than the Japanese Zero, and it lacked the high performance at high altitude. The Boomerang still gave outstanding service in the air-sea rescue and low-level infantry support in the Pacific Theatre.
Listen again.
Thanks, Ben. Good to be here.
Snap your eyes around to the right. Here comes the Hawk 127 for its entry into the display.
Ladies and gents, today in the cockpit we've got Flight Lieutenant Tim Twelvers Twelvetree. Twelvers is originally from the UK and flew in the British Air Force in 1981, where he flew the F4 Phantom. After his time in the UK, Twelvers moved on to the Australian Air Force, where he flew the FA-18, and now flying for the display for 76. He's accrued over 5,500 hours on the Hawk alone, and he's now going into the inverted pass.
It's off the Hawk 127, a very quick, a very manoeuvrable aircraft today that 12 is showing us. What's the aircraft used for?
So the aircraft... Hawk aircraft straight off pilot's course on the PC-9 as the lead-in fighter. So we learned to fly all the basics in the Hawk before moving our skills onto the FA-18.
Just pulled another turn, using about 3 times the force of gravity to reposition onto the crowd line. He's now rolling in from the left for the 4-point hesitation roll. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Turn himself on his side. Perfect opportunity for you to wave at the pilot and take some photos as he flies on by. He's now speeding up to over 900 kilometres per hour. He's about to position himself to fly back at the crowd and pull directly up into the vertical. 12ers will be experiencing up to 8G in the pull-up, climbing up to over 3,000 metres above the crowd line.
Here we go.
And commercial delegations in attendance. The stage is set for ambassadors of aerospace companies from all 4 corners of the globe who have assembled from 25 countries around the globe and 13 air forces on the ground here at Avalon for this 2017 event. Absolutely brilliant that we can assemble such a collection and corral the high end of military and civil aerospace companies from around the world. The deployable chute from the Hawk 127, the slowing process, of course, when it is required.
These types ranging from the OH-58 Kiowa to the UH-60 Black Hawk.
Australian Defence Force training is paramount. Training is done safely in the Australian Defence Force, and these aircraft you see before you now, integral to the training late 1950s right through the 1960s, the 70s, and the yellow aircraft early in the 1980s.
Combination of 2 different types of aircraft in this formation. The little fellas, the CT4s, and the larger aircraft, the Winjeel. Both share a similarity in that the cockpit configuration, the student will be sitting beside the instructor, which is a little bit different to how the instructor and the student sit in the PC-9 or even the Hawk 127.
Ben, when you did your early training, how important were these aircraft in your early training as an Air Force pilot?
Well, they're fundamental in establishing the basic skills. The pull back on the stick, the trees get smaller, push forward on the stick, the trees get larger. Developing those kind of skills. You want a very robust airframe, something that's very strong, so when those landings don't exactly go to plan, the aircraft and the pilot will bounce back. A difference these aircraft actually share is, well, the CT4s are what's known as a tricycle undercarriage, where you have 2 main wheels and a nose wheel out the front, whereas the Winjeel is what's known as a tail dragger. And they're quite difficult to land. You can get yourself into a little bit of mischief when you come into land and perform what's known as a ground loop, where the aircraft goes around like a burnout in one of the supercars.
I assume they're a very patient aeroplane, a very safe and tolerable aeroplane to fly, forgiving in mistakes?
Yeah, that's right, Pete. The CT4 has 210 horsepower. It's enough to get you out of mischief without putting you in harm's way again. The skills that you see here today, the formation flying skills, are taught to pilots on pilot's course. The aircraft on the outside of the formation, we call on the extremes, it's quite difficult to fly. Because of the limited power of the CT4, you have to have a lot of anticipation and splitting the formation. As they approach the edges of the crowd, they'll pull up for a Cuban roll. Here we go. They'll each perform an ROI roll. Here we go. Now to the right, they're rejoined in big formation for the big loop. Paul will be leading the team now through a wing over in preparation for the barrel roll. Now coming in for the double loop. Paul will lead the formation through one final loop before transiting into my personal favourite manoeuvre, the stall turns. Into the vertical. Paul will continue up. Ben and Glenn will maintain position, and all three of them will do a stall turn. Here we go. Righto. A further loop. Now we are. We're going into the stall turns. Here we go. Bring it back down to earth. Ben and Glenn will perform the mirror formation, while Paul, with his superior horsepower from the Wolf Pits Pro, will conduct barrel rolls around the outside of the corkscrew maneuver. You can see there about to perform the double hammerhead. The other two boys stuck in for the wall class. each other. Turn on the smoke. And start a tail chase. Approach. Pull up into the vertical between those two circles. Flaps and full rolls. Go under and rolls into the vertical. He'll lose all of his forward speed. Just as he does that, he'll turn off the smoke, throw it in reverse, and come straight back down the vertical. Throwing it around now, back in the forward. Everybody will be engaged in the formation and read.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the right, Major Speeding in the F-16 Fighting Falcon! Ladies and gentlemen, from your left, Major Speeding and the triple aileron roll! So the F-16 is in a 9G turn. At show center, he will bank sharply into a tight turn, capable of pressing the pilot into the seat with a force of 9 times his normal weight. Major Speeding will now demonstrate the F-16's crisp landing characteristics as he performs a 4-point roll at show center. Ladies and gentlemen, we will rock you with the 4-point roll!
You're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday, you gotta move.
As Major Speeding passes show center, he will apply full afterburner and accelerate the aircraft into a near vertical climb, demonstrating the F-16's awesome thrust-to-weight ratio.
placed in the air in return. So another Jetstar departure coming up. This Decathlon, the red and white high-wing aircraft, you may be able...
From his approach. Generation of fighter aircraft.
Quick.
Air Force Base in Phoenix, Arizona, and they are effectively assigned to a US Air Force squadron whilst over there. That squadron is the 61st Fighter Squadron. It's led by Lieutenant Colonel Mike Getty, who's here in the crowd today, and we're transitioning to OCU, our number 2 operation conversion unit, in our own schoolhouse before we transition to 77 and 75 Squadron. Now, whilst Jacko here's a bit of a showboat.
Australia's very first joint strike fighter, the F-35A. And we commend Squadron Leader Andrew Jackson. And for those students in the audience, Andrew Jackson graduated from the Australian Defence Force Academy.
In all but the very worst weather conditions. In reality, this type of insertion will be conducted by night with the aircraft piloting using a combination of infrared vision, night vision goggles, weather radar, and the aircraft's automatic flight control system. They will get in and out as stealthily as possible to avoid compromising the position of the patrol.
As the Wedgetail moves in from the north, the crew have gathered intelligence on a hostile submarine that is in the area. And using its advanced tactical voice and data communication systems, the Wedgetail will pass this information onto other assets.
As the aircraft overfly, you will see their bomb bay doors are open and electro-optical sensors are extended. Here we go. and shot a heat-seeking ASRAAM missile before rolling in behind and switching to guns. With Red Air neutralised, Hunter heading to the KC-30 air-to-air refuelling tanker to await further tasking.
Don't take your eyes off it though, because it is going to stop really quickly.
Both aircraft will have done one of the most difficult manoeuvres whilst flying at 500 kilometres an hour. Whilst flying formation with the KC-30, the jet's positioned behind the hoses, then delicately move forward to plug into the basket.
The KC-30 of number 33 Squadron, the force multiplier, enabling the Hornets to remain airborne for longer to provide assistance overhead the airfield.
The aircraft are sitting only 20 metres behind the KC-30 and a beam the tail. As the aircraft manoeuvres, the Hornets will continue to fly formation cues off the KC-30 to stay in position and remain plugged in.
And then if you draw your attention back to the C-17 on the runway, the infill of our Army personnel and equipment has been completed. The aircraft is now closed up, the ramp and the cargo door are closed, and they are ready for takeoff. They'll be putting full power on the brakes. The full power static takeoff allows the jet to get airborne in minimum time. But don't take your eyes off it, because as soon as they clean up that landing gear, bring the flaps up, retract the slats, they're going to convert to a tactical steep departure.
To bloody that nose once again.
Hunter, visual friendlies, tally target. In hot from the south.
Villain, you are cleared hot.
Safe, departing to the west.
Villain Roger. Target partially destroyed. Villain is pushing in to clean up remaining enemy. Friendly forces are now advancing.
Have a different aspect and approach. It's quite a specialised landing technique. Obviously you've got a little bit of an aircraft problem in front and behind you. So they actually aim to land almost at the same time and stop within 2,000 feet to ensure they have enough room to then take off straight away.
One aircraft aiming for the threshold, the second aircraft aiming for about 2,000 feet in, getting ready to conduct the pairs landing.
You can clearly see the different angles of those landings. You'll be able to see the cargo ramp now getting cracked and the door about to open. Doors up, ramps coming down. You'll shortly see, we call them the ramp toes. They're going to flick out so that the vehicles that are on board and the Army personnel that are on board are able to evacuate that aircraft into position as quickly as possible.
That we've seen here today. But the last one is in permanence. Despite the multi-role tanker transport, the aircraft have to come down sooner or later when they run out of fuel. Now that the airfield is secure, we're going to recover all of the assets that we've used here today securing Avalon Airfield.
But don't miss the Hercules taking off to your left.
They'll be passing overhead the field at 500 knots and 250 feet. This arrival was not only efficient but highly tactical against any forces that may be in the surrounding areas.
It's loud, it's out to the right. It's the classic Hornet. Now, back to you, Peter.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you to the members of the ADF, the Australian Defence Force, for providing commentary for what was a sample of an operational environment in taking over a hostile territory. The Air Raid Warden has signalled all clear, all clear, all clear. Thank you, Air Raid Warden. Thank you for the all clear, all clear.
So now it's time to stand up, move forward, and get ready. The show is about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the United States Air Force's F-22 Raptor. Its altitude at the end. At the top of the loop, you'll see the Raptor rotate around one spot in the sky, utilizing the vector thrust of the two powerful F-119 engines, which literally flip the aircraft through the vertical and back to level flight. Following the power loop, you'll see the Raptor perform the loaded roll. slide. Watch now as the Raptor flies in from the left, pulls straight to the vertical and brings the throttles to near idle. Then, under lead control, actually slides backwards. You'll once again feel the raw power of the jet as Major Dixon lights his afterburners and climbs straight into the vertical. Ladies and gentlemen, from the right, the Raptor
inseparable domination of friendship, courage and mateship between everybody, man and woman. Thank you very much. All the best to you guys. We look forward to seeing the Raptor again tomorrow, the closing day of the International Airshow here at Avalon. Woo!